Markets are near all-time highs. It's a holiday, 3-day weekend for the markets, but I'm going to be busier than ever this weekend, and here's why. Okay, let's do the weekend market review. First, let's look at the market. So here's the S&P 500. Here's how we've always been looking at it. The S&P 500 is here in red. Its 200-day moving average is here in purple. Market looks great. We're on all-time high watch. We just recently, last week, had our little period of upset. Everyone was a little bit over their skis in terms of market exposure. And for the most part, that's backed off. So everyone's a little bit more honest, I would say, in their allocations. However, I'm once again getting nervous here, particularly at or near all-time highs, because I believe the largest geopolitical event of 2024 is happening this weekend. No, it's not the US presidential election. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the Taiwanese election. Now, if I were to simplify things for you, we've basically got two parties, DPP, which I'll call pro-Taiwan, and KMT, which I would call pro-China. DPP is currently the front runner, pretty understandably so. China continues its provocations of Taiwan. So I wouldn't necessarily vote for a pro-China party if I was Taiwanese either. However, Beijing has been warning that DPP intends to declare its independence from China, which is pretty much China's red line for declaring war. So this is happening over the weekend, and this is probably the single largest geopolitical event. This is bigger than the presidential election to me. So we'll see. Currently, DPP is the front runner, and if you were to ask me what my expectation is, I think DPP is going to win it. Now, whether they declare independence from China or not, that's where things get interesting. Right now, all we've got is Beijing hearsay. And I think for the most part, the Chinese party is trying to influence this election as much as they can. And so they're saying things like, hey, you're going to end up in war if you vote for DPP, right? Because they want KMT to win. So we'll see. So I think DPP wins, but whether we actually get war out of this or not, that remains to be seen. But this is the biggest event. This is way bigger than our elections, in my opinion. And we haven't looked at China before on the channel, but if we look at China here, this is the iShares MSCI China, and you can see this is a pretty rough chart. This goes back to it goes back to early 2020. Basically what you have here, red line is the Chinese ETF. Purple line here is the 200-day moving average, and you can see it's been, pretty abysmal throughout this period in time. But what's interesting to me is, the Chinese market really hasn't bounced. It really is not recovering. And what this looks like to me, if you were to say, what is the money saying? What is the market telling us about the Chinese situation? It looks like they're getting out of Dodge. What this looks like to me, this looks like liquidations. This looks like people wanting to get out of China at all costs. And these are large institutions. This isn't really retail investors in this market. So what is the smart money saying? The smart money is saying there's going to be some sort of Chinese conflict. And at this point, I don't know necessarily that I'm going to swallow all that, but it's definitely something I'm going to be watching. So we've got a holiday, but I'm going to be in overdrive this weekend following the news out of Taiwan. So there you go. Market looks fine. Our biggest geopolitical event of the year, in my opinion, happens this weekend. We'll see how it resolves, and I'll see you guys next week.